Welcome back. Today we're looking at an investigative report that details the connections between Ehud Barak's family and Jeffrey Epstein. Everything from college admissions to military placement.
It is dense. And reading through it, I just felt like the writer, they did an incredible job gathering all the bricks.
Yes.
But they haven't quite figured out what kind of house they're building. The data is all there, and it's explosive, but the narrative is shaky.
That's a perfect way to put it. The investigation is great at mapping the network, the who, but it totally misses the chance to categorize the types of influence being traded.
Right.
Right.
Right now, every single interaction is just treated as a flat data. A concert ticket gets the same narrative weight as a request to influence the military.
Which just flattens the whole story. Exactly. And it dilutes the most damaging parts. So the first big issue here is the need to distinguish between what are just, social perks and what is actual abuse of power.
Can I push back on that a little, though?
Please.
Because I read the part about Barak asking Epstein to help his son-in-law find music producers, and I thought, well, isn't that just networking?
It is.
If he'd asked some Hollywood producer, we wouldn't even be talking about it. So is it wrong to include it?
No, it's not wrong to include, but it's wrong to present it as a scandal in and of itself. That's the trap.
Okay.
You're right. Asking a rich friend for an industry contact is what people do. It's just embarrassing because the friend's Epstein. But then, in the very next section, the draft drops a bombshell about military placement without even changing its tone.
You're talking about the IDF unit email.
Yes. By mixing them all together, the writer just makes the reader fatigue. If everything's a scandal, then nothing is. The audience just thinks, okay, rich people helping each other.
And they stop looking for the real corruption.
So the fix has to be structural. We need a hierarchy.
A hierarchy.
Exactly. Restructure the narrative. Separate the instances of privileged access from official action. I'd even suggest the writer, physically create two buckets.
Okay.
Group A is for the social context. That's where you put the concert invites, the music producer stuff, and even the NYU admission for the stepson, Nimrod Priel.
The NYU admission is an interesting one because Nimrod writes to Epstein, I don't know where I'd be without you.
Yeah.
Establishes closeness. It proves they were intimate friends, not just, professional acquaintances. That's the job of Group A.
Right.
But then you have to pivot hard. You have to signal to the reader, okay, you see they were friends. Now look at how that friendship impacted the state of Israel. And that's Group B. Systemic influence.
And that's where the email about Tali comes.
Read that part again. It's from 2011.
Right. Okay. So Epstein emails Barak's daughter, Anat, asking for help to get a woman, Tali, into a specific elite IDF unit.
Mm-hmm.
And Anat replies, and this is a direct quote from the text, we will take care of her.
We will take care of her. Just stop and think about that sentence.
Yeah.
This is not about getting backstage passes. This is a foreign national, a convicted sex offender, making a request about staffing the Israeli military. And the defense minister's daughter says, we'll handle it.
And that we is doing a lot of work. It implies it wasn't just her.
It implies the family mechanism. Yeah. And the writer just glides right over it. The actionable advice here is to rewrite that transition. The script needs to say something like, while the concerts and college admissions show deep friendship, the IDF email suggests Epstein saw the Barak family as a tool to bypass national institutions.
That one distinction changes everything. It moves the story from, tabloid gossip to state corruption.
And it's not just the IDF. Look at the request to Muli Brog, Barak's brother, about Taglit.
Oh, the birthright trip. That was 2013.
Right. Epstein wants to arrange a private trip for his Russian friends, and he wants to use the Taglit infrastructure.
Which is, it's a project funded by the Israeli government.
It's a misappropriation of national resources. He's trying to use it for his own private network. So Group A proves closeness. Group B proves they were compromising Israeli institutions. Separating them makes the piece so much stronger.
That makes total sense. But, even with that structure, I was still getting lost in the timeline. I kept having to check the dates. Wait, was he defense minister then? Was this before or after Epstein went to jail? It jumps all over the place.
It's a chronological mess. And because of that, the writer completely fails to land the most damning argument of all, the knowledge argument.
The script does say Barak knew. It quotes that 2015 email where Barak mentions the storm around Epstein.
So the writer knows he knew, but they don't show us what that knowledge meant in practice. The timeline is the weapon here, and it's just not being used.
Because if you just list the favors, it seems like a long friendship, but if you actually look at the dates.
Let's look at the dates. The conviction was 2008. Epstein becomes a registered sex offender. Then, the draft mentions a party Epstein hosted for Barak in 2010.
Right, with Larry Summers, Len Blavatnik, Arthur Sulzberger.
So in 2010, Ehud Barak is the sitting Minister of Defense. He is attending a party hosted by a convict. The writer puts that scene in there, but it's just buried. So the impact is totally lost.
It's not just that he went to the party, it's that the relationship seems to have escalated after the conviction.
Exactly. That is the narrative arc the writer is missing. I mean, you'd think after your friend gets convicted of soliciting a minor, you might, pull back a bit.
You'd think, but the IDF request was 2011. The Taglit request was 2013.
And the medical advice request?
2016.
That one really stuck with me. 2016. That's 8 years after the conviction. Barak is emailing Epstein for help finding a medical specialist for a friend.
Just think about that. A former prime minister and defense minister of Israel, a country known for its medical tech, is emailing a disgraced sex offender in New York for a doctor referral.
It just screams dependency.
It does. And it completely refutes that whole, oh, they just drifted apart defense. No. Enforcing a strict chronological order proves the drift never happened. The reliance just kept going. So the advice is, stop jumping around. Start with 2008. Establish the knowledge. Then frame every single interaction after that as a deliberate choice.
Yes, it turns the story from a collection of emails into a chronicle of moral failure. That email in 2007 is one thing. That same type of request in 2013 is complicity.
That's a really powerful frame. Now I want to go back to something you said earlier, the we in "we will take care of her." The draft lists so many names. Neely, Anat, Nimrod, Muli. It feels a bit like a cast list.
And that brings us to the third big issue, the family business aspect. Right now, the writer treats them all as separate data points. A paragraph on the wife, a paragraph on the brother.
And you miss the forest for the trees. Because when you look at the sheer volume of contact, it doesn't look like individual favors. It looks like an operation.
An ecosystem. The writer needs to frame the Barak family not just as beneficiaries, but as an operational network that Epstein had access to.
I was really struck by that detail about Neely Priel, Barak's wife.
Yeah.
It says she was handling technical logistics for apartment visits.
She wasn't just a passive spouse. She was an administrator, managing the schedule. And then the daughter is offering concert tickets. The son-in-law is offering to play a special show for him.
It's reciprocal. That's what I missed at first. I thought it was just Epstein giving things to them.
No, they were servicing the relationship. The writer should use a phrase like holistic integration. Epstein didn't just have a friend in government. He had the whole clan. He was finding doctors for friends of the Barak family. He was their fixer.
Which raises a really uncomfortable question. Did Epstein cultivate the kids to make sure the defense minister stayed accessible?
That's the question the piece needs to force the writer to ask. Was the NYU admission for Nimrod a gift, or was it more like a retainer fee?
Wow, that's chilling. The idea that by helping the kids, he kind of owned the father.
Which leads us straight to the biggest weakness in the whole draft, the so what, the conclusion.
Yeah, I was really let down by the end. It just says, the Barak family enjoyed a connection with this dark man. It felt, soft.
It relies on the audience just inherently disliking Epstein. It assumes connecting Barak to him is a strong enough conclusion. But we're talking about national security. The stakes aren't reputation. The stakes are sovereignty.
So how do you elevate that? I mean, the writer can't just invent a crime. We don't have proof Barak gave him state secrets or anything.
No, but you have proof of leverage. And that has to be the angle. The conclusion shouldn't be about guilt by association. It should be about national security vulnerability.
Okay, so let's look at the company detail. Like Neely Priel sent Epstein details about a company that was supposed to bring Barak back to public life.
That's in the text, and the writer barely even touches it. That's the smoking gun for the so what. Epstein wasn't just finding doctors. He was potentially being courted as a financial backer for Barak's political comeback.
And if a foreign criminal with a potential blackmail operation is funding your return to power, and he also got your stepson into college, and he handles your family's medical care,
then you are compromised. That is the word. Not embarrassed. Compromised. If Epstein had called Barak in 2014 and asked for a favor that went against Israeli interest, could Barak have said no?
We will take care of her.
Exactly. They couldn't say no to a simple soldier placement. What else couldn't they say no to? That is the question this whole piece should end on.
That is so much stronger than just he hung out with a bad guy. It reframes the whole thing.
It degrades the dignity of the office. That's another thing. There's that bit where Barak himself emails Epstein in 2007 asking for producer contacts for his son-in-law
The prime minister acting as a talent agent.
via a sex offender. It's undignified. The writer has all the evidence. They just need to sharpen the tone, stop sounding shocked, and start sounding analytical. The facts are shocking enough.
The writing needs to be cold and hard. I like that. So, okay, let's try to pull this all together.
We should, because for the listener who submitted this, the potential here is massive. This could be the definitive account of this whole scandal.
Okay, so step 1.
The hierarchy.
Yes, stop treating all the emails as equal. Group the social favors as context for closeness, then pivot hard to the systemic influence, the IDF, Taglit, as evidence of the abuse of state resources.
Step 2. The timeline.
Don't jump around. Start with the 2008 conviction. Make it clear every interaction after that was a choice made by a man who knew exactly who he was dealing with.
Step 3. The family unit.
Connect the dots. Show the holistic integration. Frame the family as an operational network that was servicing the relationship with Epstein.
And finally, the so what. Move beyond moral judgment. Articulate the security risk. Argue that the former prime minister was effectively leveraged by a foreign criminal.
It's a lot of work, but honestly, the story is already there. It's just hiding behind a bad structure.
It's screaming to be let out. So we invite the writer to take these lenses, especially national security and timeline, and do a full rewrite. Don't be afraid to quote, "We will take care of her," and just let it hang there.
And don't be afraid to ask the hard questions. Was he compromised? Is a fair question, given the data.
Absolutely. Rewrite it, sharpen it, send it back to us. We really want to see the version of this story that hits with the weight it deserves.
I really hope they do. I want to read that draft.
Me too. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, good investigation is finding the dots, but great storytelling is about connecting them. Keep digging.